Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Apocalyptic Optimath channel with your host, with the most, known as King the Conqueror, known as the High Evolutionary, also known as Seth. I'm going to talk about something right now, and this is strictly for. Well, it's not strictly. You can listen to it even if you don't see yourself as any of these entities per se. Um, but this is mostly for I this message will be misconstrued by many people or probably rejected, maybe. Maybe. um so I wanted to say that this message is for, not strictly for, but for demons, jinns, and fairies. So the context here the context here is, let's just say, I don't know why I'm on a superpositioning tangent right now, but let's just say we're talking about like superposition, right? In the quantum mechanical fine works of reality, right? And what I mean by these overly complicated terms is basically in your everyday. So let's pull out here a little bit. Let's get a bird's eye view of the subject that we're talking about today. So in we I was talking to somebody in the comment section. I was talking to Jafar in the comment section, and in the comment section, um, we were talking about like victimhood mentality and stuff like that, right? And I ended up talking about something that I do think is very particular. I also said that I was going to make a video about it, so I'm going to do it right now. And I'm not going to talk about victimhood here, but I will say victimhood has a lot to do with um, self confidence. Self confidence, I feel like, might be one of the main issues of victimhood mentality. And I do also think that it makes some people grow a form of narcissistic personality based off of their victimhood mentality. Because, and I don't really necessarily just blame the victim for being a victim. I mean, you can't really do that, but there is a trust issue. There's a severe trust issue, and there's a severe confidence issue, right? Which doesn't happen to everybody that's a victim of a traumatizing event. There's people that do go through traumatic events and they can still manage to find some level of trust in life, and some level of confidence also. Um, of course, you're going to be more careful than other people because you don't want that event to happen again. So you're gonna, you're gonna put people at arm's length. But this is not what we're talking about right now. But it kind of has something to do with it in some shape or form, in some dimension, in some weird dimension. It has something to do with it. Um, in some interlacing dimension, it has something to do with it. But that's not what we're gonna talk about. So the reason why this video is for strictly demon, jinns, and fairies, because demon, jinns, and fairies know who they are. They walk the earth, and they know who they are, and they're doing their thing, and they're wonderful people, and I appreciate them a lot. Um, and because they're very helpful. Demon, jinns, and fairies are very helpful people. And when you're lucky enough to have uh, these people in your life, then there's not a lot that you can't accomplish, right? There's not a lot that you can accomplish because a demon, jinn, and fairy will make everything work. Like they'll make everything function. Like everything you're if you have power, a demon, a jinn, or a fairy will amplify your power tenfold. You know, so whatever you try to achieve in life, and they do come along in your life when you're trying to build something. When you're trying to build something, these specific entities will come into your life to enhance the enhance whatever you are trying to create. I almost said magic, but I don't want to specifically state this to magic because no, it's not, right? And I feel like in the world of today, and the reason why I'm excluding regular people from this video, the original reason why I was thinking about excluding regular people from this video is because um this is very specific. This is very specific. It's very specific, and it's not everybody that will accept this way of doing things, because it is a way of doing. It's a different mindset, and you have to be ready for that sort of mindset. And dare I say the obvious um religious um hindrance, or um how do I, not hindrance, but religion does kind of put a little bit of a sort of a blockage from accepting these kind of people in your life, and sometimes those kind of people do enter your life, and you might think that they are, if you're a religious person, you might think that they're an angel, right, sent by God to help you, blah 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 blah, right? It can happen, but I'm not aware, because a jinn, a demon, or a fairy will stay with you for a long time, and it depends on it really depends on the person's personal choice, and we all have free will. So a person can separate themselves from a, a jinn or a fairy. They can, or a demon. They can separate themselves from that entity, from that person, because of personal life choices. Going a different route, or things of that matter. And you have to understand, like, a demon, a jinn, or a spirit will follow you and try to help you in whatever you're doing. But if you go a completely different route, if you go into a different mindset, a completely different mindset, then you might lose that person. Or if you rub that person the wrong way, you might lose that person also. Um so me myself as a demon, I can attest to that, because I do. Example, so I came into this guy's life, pause. I came into this guy that was a joke, by the way. uh you know I didn't know, apparently I have, anyway, whatever. I don't even know if I should say that. So anyways, I came into this guy's life, and he was trying to build something. He was trying to create something. He's trying to build a business, right? Um, I was helping that person. I could see the person had potential. I could see da 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 da. And me as a demon, there's nothing I like more than to rain money on people. If you're really serious about what you want, if you really want it, I'm gonna make it happen. You know, um, there's nothing that makes me happier than to, make it rain. So came into this guy's life, but he was obviously not ready for it, And I would give him hints, and mind you, he was doing it before he met me, and I was like probably years. He was doing it years before he met me, and I was giving him hints everywhere. I was dropping coins every so often, ever so often, you know. And the demon will, but I wasn't the boss or something. I wasn't the boss of anything. I was just like a helper, you know. So I would play my role as a helper. But if you're gonna hire me, whether you're aware that I'm a demon, a jinn, or a fairy, which I am all three of, whether you're aware of that, it doesn't matter, because I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, you know. And the relationship kind of fell off, because of the person's fear of success, right? This person's fear of success made him stagnant. So I had to remove myself from this situation. Even though the person did have the capability of doing what he wanted to do, and he had the credentials, he had the capability, he had the energy, but it was his mindset that kept him from moving higher, right? So, and a lot of people that's the problem, you know. And it is the problem, and it's a widespread thing. It is a widespread thing. It happens a lot, and it's mostly out of trust. People distrust each other a lot, for various and probably good reasons too. I'm not saying that a person that has distrust is. I'm not saying they're always right, and I'm not saying they're always wrong. They might have perfectly valid reasons to feel the way that they feel. Perfectly valid. The sad thing is, whether or not, regardless of what happens, at the end of the day, you can expect a person to stay in your distrust, right? You can't expect a person to stay in your distrust. You can't expect a person to continue following something that might be negative for the person, right? And even for the person helping or for the person doing, in both cases, if there's too much negativity, you can't stay there. You can't do anything if because there's different, like, there's different groups of people, right? You got alphas, you got betas, you got deltas and stuff, and so on and so on, right? Deltas or herds. Deltas are the ones that hang around in herds, right? Deltas hang around in herds, and betas, or seen as the weaker type of characters, and alpha is seen as more the stronger type of characters. Then you get sigmas are kind of like alphas, but they hang with no one, and well, and whatever, because alphas hang around in groups. The betas are in the group, but they're not the strongest in the group, and sigmas don't hang around in groups, but they have alpha male mentality, right? So they act like alphas, but on their own. So, anyways, um, if any of that's true, this is basically like internet philosophy right now. This is internet philosophy, man. So but deltas is what I've noticed, where there's also the groups that have no alphas. there's no alphas and there's no betas, right? And they just hang around in groups. It's when you meet delta groups, to me, it's where things the vision the vision starts to get a little bit misconstrued. Like it starts to get confusing, right? Because you see groups doing things and then you see groups not doing things. And you would think that the groups that are doing things are the same people than the groups that are not doing things, right? So, but what's really going on is there, as much as you don't want to admit it to yourself, you know, like there are groups of people that are comfortable staying stagnant, and they meet with other people that also want to stay stagnant. So now they're a group, but they're stagnant as a group, and then you have like real groups, more deltas, and this is the difference between the delta group. I don't really hang around with deltas, but but the delta group is a group that has ambition, you know, even though they might not be, because it's better, like, because the thing about an alpha and deltas, an alpha we find a group of people that he perceives are kind of equal to him, but he can still rise above them, right? Like he's the leader of the pack, but he's the one judging who deserves to be in the pack. So he has a set of standards that he considers, like, okay, this person, like, he's definitely, I want that person in the pack. That person, I don't want him in the pack because of this, and this, and that. But deltas are kind of like the rejects. They're kind of like the rejects of the groups, right? Of the different groups. They kind of like the reject of the groups, but they focus on one goal, like, which is what makes them deltas. They focus on the goal, even though they've been rejected by other groups. They found a group, and there's no alphas, and there's no real clear, cohesive mindset in the delta groups, and but they group together because of one common trait. Like they have one common trait. Either they have an ambition, a goal that they want to achieve, or something like that, right? And they do it, and that's why they meet together and they band together, because that's the goal, right? And these people are not weaker or stronger than anybody, technically speaking, of course. But you, per se, as a demon, you see these things, you see these people, or as a regular person, especially as a regular person, because if you're a demon, you already understand these things. So that's not really given. That's not where you have trouble. And I'm not saying that demons, jinns, fairy type of archetype personality types have trouble doing something. Just hang on, bear with me. So as a regular person, you're watching these things and you're kind of like, you get confused, right? You don't understand why these people don't, like, mess with those people and those blah blah blah. And when you grow up in a society where you have to work, you have to do these things, you have to be responsible, you wake up in the morning, blah blah blah, and you're expecting everybody else to do the same, right? But that's not the case. Everybody else does not do the same, and you're aware of that too. The thing is, you don't really know why that is. You don't really understand why that is. You might have some perception of why that is, or some knowledge over some type of psychological process, psychopathy, whatever, like psychopath behavior that would explain why this person's acting this way and why the person's acting that way. And but as a person, you have to, there's a sense of um grouping together in order to achieve things, at some fucking point, you know um And mind you, like I do understand that some people out there, especially when you listen to YouTube, which I would not suggest. Um, but I wouldn't suggest it, but at the same time, they're still right. Like a lot of people are kind of like, I don't want to. I want to do things by myself. Blah blah blah. And I feel like that's kind of like a trap, And I feel like it's a trap, and because at the end of the day, like, okay, let's say you're a game developer. Like I'm not a game developer, but I know how to develop a game. I know how to make a game. It's not easy, but it's not that hard either, right? But let's say you want to make a real, like, you want to make a AAA game, right? Like your goal in life is make a AAA game, and you don't want to be part of the Illuminati to make that shit happen. So you want to make that shit happen, and that's when shit gets hard. I dare say that's when shit gets hard, because you're gonna need people. Because if you don't, like, if you're making a full-on game that you created by yourself, right? It's going to take you years in order to finish. By yourself, it's going to take you years. Creating all the assets, creating the environment, the world, because you got to do that by hand. You got to do it by hand. It's like anything else. It's like, I feel like sometimes people think like video games is like easy to create. It's not. None of this shit is easy. It's absolutely not easy. So you got to create everything by hand. You got to be able to code. You got to be able to do a lot of things. You know, and there's nothing that's created for you. Like when you're playing these like Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, all the things that you're seeing do not exist. Like you can't go to the store and just I'ma buy this monster and put it in my video. You can't do that. That's not how it works. Everything you're seeing, every single minute details of the video game was created by a person. Every single detail, everything. you know, like you can't go to the supermarket and order a stack of like monsters for video game making. That does not exist. Well, it does nowadays. You can buy assets from the asset store, but they're not good looking assets. Like you're not gonna make a triple A game. You're not gonna make a platinum game, a triple A game, using asset stores, using assets from the asset store. That's just not gonna happen. You know. So it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and if you're doing it by yourself, it's gonna take you years before you finish. Literally years, probably a decade. So then you're kind of like, okay, well, I need help, and that's, well, I'm gonna finish what I was saying. Like that's the reason why I feel like, okay, well, you want to do things by yourself, fine, but I feel like people that work in the lines of doing things by themselves, they're mostly like people that do like sell stuff on Amazon. They sell things on Amazon, or they do uh the copyright work that some people call drop shifting, because that's not what drop shifting is. Drop shifting is very different than what people call drop shifting. That's not, because I used to do drop shifting, and it's completely different. I don't know why they keep calling it drop shifting. It's not drop shifting, but anyway, people keep calling that drop shifting. It's very drop shifting is putting code bars on things. Like I used to put code bars on my job was to put code bars on fucking on products. That's what drop shifting is. And then you have to like input the delivery to, like, you have to make sure that the thing in the code bar actually, the information on the code bar is the information needed and stuff. Like that's what drop shifting is. And so, and I don't know why recently people, there's been this big blow up of calling, copywriting drop shifting, because that's what drop shifting is. Drop shifting is copywriting, basically like you're writing things for other companies and stuff like that, which is fine. Which is fine. Copywriting is, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like that's the kind of thing that they're talking about. Small side hustles. When of course, you can do a side hustle by yourself. It's a side hustle. It's not a career. You're not gonna make your name by drop shifting. You're gonna make some money, maybe a little bit, and the market's saturated for these kind of things right now. So I'm pretty sure all the people that was saying that they're working by themselves, blah 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 blah, are now probably back to work at a regular job, or like or they changed their business model, at the end of the day. And because, or maybe they didn't have to change the business model because they got started when when copywriting first started, and those people made the most money, so maybe not. But in any which case, in 2024, I guess there's some people that still talk about, having their business on their own and stuff like that, but they have multiple side businesses. So that's why they can do something on their own. So when you're talking about a dream that you're wanting to, when you have a dream, when you have an ambition of a big creation, a real creation, not big in the sense of, making it big, but a creation as of a project that you want to put on hand, like, writing a book, making a movie, writing a book, or some shit, something like that, right? Or I don't know, wanting to be something like a singer or a rapper or something. That's what I'm saying by big. A more stable construct for an ideal for yourself, because I don't think, I mean, side hustles can buy diapers. I guess you can buy diapers with side hustles, and beer, diapers, and maybe pay your rent, and then that's pretty much it. It's a side hustle. It's not a career. It's not a name. It's not. So, and I feel like a lot of, like, the internet is kind of confusing people by saying, self-made stuff, and self-made. I'm saying you're self-made with side hustles, but you're not. We don't know who you are. Like, you don't have a business. Like, you just do hustle. You just hustle. You don't really have a business. Like, your side hustles didn't amount to a company, like a name, a brand. And I feel like that's what people should have. That's what people should go towards: having a brand, having a name, having a company, having a stable, cohesive dream, and living it, right? Um, an ambition, right? So, in the sense of, in the way of, so you're sitting there, you're watching all of these things happening, and you're wondering, well, how do I get there and stuff like that, and then comes the demon. That's where we come in. Demons, jinns, and fairies. That's where we come in, and in today's world, it's easy to feel like doing all these side hustles and just buying diapers and buying beer, and that's it. Like, that seems like a legit thing to do. And kind of, yeah, it is. Kind of, it is. And you don't have to deal with other people's shit. You don't have to deal with other people's shit and stuff like that. So yeah, it makes sense. But I feel like it's also a disservice at the same time, because you're encouraging people to not be able to coexist together. You're kind of encouraging you're like, okay, well, you can't. It's kind of like saying, you're not the problem, I am, at the end of the day. It's kind of like you're saying that you have a problem for coexist, for being able to coexist with other people. No, the people that can't coexist with other people have a problem. It's not you that have a problem. How can that be a problem if you're able to exist living next to a person? How can you be the problem? Like that makes no sense. That literally makes no sense. Like it makes zero sense. So, and I feel like society is kind of encouraging that kind of behavior, like, because they're not looking at it, they're not paying attention to it, they're not looking at it, and they're accepting the fact that this person cannot physically live next to a person. Like it's kind of crazy. It's not funny, but it is kind of funny. I mean, like, so, and we do encourage it on many shapes of form, and it's at a point now that we're literally encouraging people to not learn to coexist, but instead to try to find ways to do things absolutely by themselves. That's a trap. It's a lie, served by the Illuminati to put people on a failure based mindset. Because at the end of the day, yeah, the side hustle might pay the bill a little bit, but it's gonna the well is going to run dry. It's a limited way of doing things. And while you're busy hustling and paying and just having enough to pay your bills, and a little bit more maybe, though the same people telling you to telling you that you should do this and you should do that, they're not doing that, and they're not doing this. That's not how they created their shit. It's like this the same thing. It's not just video games. It's the same thing for movies. Let's look at Hollywood per se. So Hollywood hire actors to go on YouTube to tell you to work by yourself, right? But if you flip the case over, that's not what they're doing. They have a bunch of people working for them, doing the stuff. As a matter of fact, the only reason why you're seeing the person on the fucking YouTube video is because of a group of people that hired them and paid him to be able to do that. So they don't work by themselves. And there's no smart individual, there's no smart person that works alone. If you're working alone, you're not that smart. End of story. Because you're gonna take more time. Whatever you're doing is going to take. Yes, you're gonna have peace of mind, of course, but you're not here to be happy. Like, fuck happiness. Like, like, you're not here to be happy. No, for real. But no, I'm kidding. You have the right to your happiness, but you absolutely have the right to your happiness. But you're not here to be comfortable, right? Not all the time. Buy yourself a comfortable couch and a comfortable bed and be comfortable at home, right? But don't try to be comfortable absolutely everywhere, because that's a bit irrational. It's a little bit irrational thinking. It's an irrational mindset to try to remove every inch of uncomfortability from your life. That's absurd. It's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable. If you want to be comfortable, make sure your house is comfortable, right? When you go home, you'll be able to go home and be comfortable. And in most cases, we're talking about like entrepreneurship right now, right? So you're already at home. you know like, you're already at home, so you're supposed to be comfortable there any fucking ways. So, and in order to grow, you gotta stress, right? It's like when you plant flowers. If you want your flower, it's like a bonsai, right? Like, if you ever had a bonsai tree, like, the reason why the trees have that shape is because you're stressing the tree, right? It's a stressing technique, and and because you're stressing the tree to form itself, to shape itself how you want the shape to be, right? Because if you don't do that, the bonsai tree is just gonna grow straight up. So it's not. It's actually it's a it's work. A bonsai tree is work. You can't. You don't just buy a bonsai tree. But I mean, like if it's already made, yeah. But you can make a bonsai tree also. You know, you can probably buy some somewhere like a bonsai tree that's already had the stress work done on him, and blah 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 blah. But if you're trying to have a bonsai tree, the bonsai tree just is gonna grow straight up like any other fucking tree. So you have to. It's you that has to shape the 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 branches in the way that you want the branches to go. You know, so you have to work on it. You know, and that's where the meditation practice comes from. You know, because you have to work on the tree, and as you work on the tree, you try to clear your mind and blah 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 blah. So anyway, so it's good to put a little bit of stress on yourself. It's good to deal with other people's shit a little bit, and it depends on the person because not everybody has a high level of shit to give you. And I would suggest to try to find people that have a small sum of shit to give you, you know. Of course, you know, because if the person just gives you shit all the time, you get that's too much uncomfortability. You got to have a little bit of discernment. You can't just because then you're just going to be a doormat, you know, and or a punching bag, right? So you don't want to be a doormat or a punching bag. So you gotta find people that give you a minimum amount of shit. So you can actually get some work done, you know. So and so let's get into the magic. So a demon, a jinn, or a fairy. Um, I feel like it's important for people to tap into their fairy, demonic, or jinn aspect, especially nowadays, because people can't work together. You know, because jinns will attract people towards you. Like like they'll make you cool, and and that also rubs people the wrong way because most people are gonna think like they're gonna think that the demon is trying to take over the company. No, it's just like that. Like the jinn or the fairy or the demon is going to attract people towards you. He's gonna attract people towards you. He's gonna attract business towards you. He's gonna attract things toward you. He's gonna help you. He's gonna help you. It's like having a servant. Dare I say? And at the end of the day, having a demon. I mean, like we don't want to be called servants. We don't want to be called servants. We don't want to be called slaves. But that's what a jinn does. A jinn grants wishes. You know, that's what demons do. Demons grant wishes. That's what a fairy do. Fairies make things fantastical. You know, that's what they do, right? So it's kind of like not a servant, but it's kind of like having a personal helper, but it's like having a magical personal helper, right? So it will attract things towards you, and and you, and some of us, probably not the people watching this video, but there are people out there that have met people like that. I've seen it with my own eyes. People that have people like that with them, and they fuck it up. Like they fuck it up, bro. Like they fuck it up out of ego, out of frustration and ego, because they think they start paranoid. They start getting paranoid. They start thinking that the person wants to replace them or take their shit over and shit like that. And it happens a lot, in all aspects of life. It happens. in all aspects of life. Even in street shit, like even in street shit, there's fairies. There's gangster fairies too. There's gangster fairies too. There's dudes, and I've seen that quite a lot, and I always feel bad every time I see it. It's an atrocious sight to see when the guy is like losing his shit over this other guy because he's jealous, and that's his like right hand man or some shit. And he's just jealous and just goes balls to the wall. This the guy, make him look like a jackass and all kinds of, and that shit's sad. And well, that's gonna go to shit in a couple months. And evidently everybody ends up going to jail. you know the fairy is nowhere to be found. Nobody knows where he is, or where he went to, and he just everything's destroyed. So it happens a lot. It happens a lot on all platforms of life, and because at the end of the day, like I said, people create their own universes, and there's things living in those there's laws, right, in their universes, and when you're doing something, uh attracting a demon or a jinn is a law of what you're trying to do, right? Like if you really want what you want, you're going to attract demons towards you. You're going to attract fairies towards you. You're going to attract jinns towards you eventually. Maybe not at first, but eventually it's gonna happen. And it's kind of a law because like, pardon the pun here, God did not create Earth by himself, right? He created Earth with the help of angels, right? So you can have that same mentality about everything that you do in your life. Like if you're trying to run a business, you're trying to do that, and you really want something, you know, um, regardless of what that thing is, even bad things, even negative things, like regardless of what the thing is, you will attract a demon, you will attract a jinn. That is basically the essence of what you're trying to have, and that person entity is going to help you achieve this thing, because that's what you really fucking want, right? So, and when you really want something, well, the universe tries to help you get it. Like when you really want something, the universe kind of like personifies itself, like materializes itself until you get it, whether it's negative or positive. And of course, you know, if there are negative people listening, of course, there's consequences to your actions too. So you might attract the wrong kind of demon. Like you might attract the wrong kind of demon. Um, so there's that. But regardless of what you want, it's like it's not. It's a over. The reason what I'm saying is an oversimplification here, obviously. But at the end of the day, if you really want something, the universe will help you get it, right? The universe will there's certain laws. It's not even that the universe is helping you to get it. There's certain laws that life obeys to, right? It's like if that's I want that, that's what I want. Like, and there's nothing in heaven or hell that can change your fucking mind. That's what you're gonna get. Literally. That's how it works. If you really want something, and you not there's nothing nothing at all that can change your mind, bro, you're gonna get it. You're going to get it. Like end of story. Whether it's negative or positive, because it has nothing to do with good. This has nothing to do with good and evil. It's actually your mind. It's how your mind. It's your perception that's actually dictating what you're receiving, right? It actually has nothing to do with good and evil. So there's that. But what I really want to talk about, the reason why I'm thinking about dinge demons and fairies is because, like I was saying earlier, today is an important time for us to exist. And it's not that it's no, that's not true. It's not a perfect time for us to exist in a positive sense. It's a perfect time for us to exist in a negative sense. And let me explain. The Illuminati, right? So the Illuminati is sitting there, and I'm really happy somebody commented and said I'm not gay bashing, because I wasn't trying to. The person said I'm not gay bashing. Is what I'm saying was true, and I'm happy to hear that because I'm not really gay bashing. Like, I wouldn't have made that rant if things wasn't this overtly obvious. I feel like my rant I did a couple days ago was super obvious. Like, to me, it feels super fucking obvious because it's not like you can't see it. It's not like no one sees it. Like, it's obvious. Like, like it's in your face. Like, you don't need me to rant for 2 hours about that shit in order for you to realize that that's what's going on, bro. Like, so that's the only reason why I felt comfortable ranting like that. Like this. That's the only reason why I felt comfortable ranting like that. So so yeah. So I'm happy somebody said I'm not crazy, basically. Uh, so but like I said, so right now there's the Illuminati, and these people are taking over business sectors. They're not taking over businesses, but they're taking over business sectors. Like, they're trying to saturate certain sectors, right? They're trying to monopolize certain areas, right? And this action actually um is very toxic and negative to people, and it's shaping people's reality also. And the consequence is that people will not, either they're gonna join them in their nonsensical bullshit, or they're not gonna do anything at all. And that's very bad. So this is why I'm saying, like, it's a perfect time negatively to do what we know how to do best, because the world needs our help. The world needs our help, and it's not like going out to help people. It's not, no. Just do your thing like you regularly do it, and wait until you see an opportunity. Don't go into the waters. It's too deep. Don't go into the water. It's too deep. But wait for an opportunity to arise. And take that opportunity. And do what you got to do. Do what you know how to do. If the person doesn't accept it, well, at least you tried. But if the person accepts it, then everybody's happy, and you did your part. Because that's what demons do. Demons are made for specific tasks. They're made specific. Jinns and fairies do a specific task, and there are demons, jinns, and fairies for any task that you can think of, you know. So, like don't overdo it. Don't try to do, what you're not supposed to be doing, do what you know you're supposed to be doing, and just that, Um and like it's like I said, it's a perfect time for us to be doing what we know how to do, because you know I feel like even I'm guilty of this. I kind of stopped doing what I know what how to do. I completely stopped even. And of course that might be a result of me growing into something different. I've changed, but a couple of years ago I could say that I was in that same situation where I kind of like, well, fuck this, nobody appreciates my power, so fuck everybody, and I'm gonna just do my thing, whatever that thing is. But it's very hard for a demon, a jinn, or a fairy to find other things to do. Like it's hard because we work with people. That's kind of like what we do. It's kind of like being a god, but nobody believes in you. It's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do now? I'm gonna just sit here and eat grapes all day. I mean, like, but maybe sitting there and eating grapes all day, it's fun for like a couple days, but you're gonna get tired of eating grapes, bro. Like, like you're gonna get tired of it at some point. So, and that's not the point I'm trying to make here. I feel like, there's too much lies and ridiculousness being foretold, and us removing ourselves from the equation might be good for us, obviously, but at the same time it's bad for the world, and not bad as you're doing it on purpose, like, oh, you're not helping, blah blah blah. No, I'm not. This is not a reprimand. It's not good to the world in the sense of like the world needs to accept us, because, well, if we're not part of the world, then the world will be destroyed. you know Quite simply. you know so, mind you, not all jinns are servant. Some are bosses too. Some are bosses too, and people need to be comfortable with what they're put here to do. People need to be more, and it's easy for me to say, obviously. That's an easy thing to say. Like I said, the world is in turmoil. You got Joe Biden and stuff like that, and blah blah blah, and Illuminati fucking around and shit, and all kinds of weird nonsense, and it's shaping reality because people are either absorbing this false information and living their lives by it, or some people are just distrustful of everyone they see, so they don't even try anything at all. So it's important. I feel like now is a good time to be who we are, and do what we know best how to do, um, on the simple fact that without it, well, the world is going to suffer for it, and this is unnecessary suffering. Also, it's not necessary. This suffering that the world is going through is very unnecessary. It's very unnecessary, and most of it stems from personal choices. Most of the suffering that's going on in the world stems from a personal choice of not acting, or a personal choice of acting, depending on the person and the situation, right? Um, and if we're going to talk about business, if we're going to talk about business, which I think is very important, I think it's very important. Is It's one of I feel like in the apocalyptic aftermath movement. Uh, I guess I understand that if people follow me, it's for spiritual growth, but there is a place in the apocalyptic aftermath movement that is for more advanced human beings, and you will find business creation, not business but creation. But to me, it's the same thing. Business and creating is the same thing. I feel like when I'm saying business, it helps you understand more than if I say creation, because creation, I feel like for most people, being creative, for most people, not for everybody, but I feel like if I use the word creative, um it has like a kind of connotation of pulling yourself away from the world and just live in your art and your creation, right? And in apocalyptic aftermath movement, we don't just we create, but what we're creating is to help the world, right? What we're creating things, products that will help the world. We're not creating products for ourselves and ourselves alone, but that's for more advanced individuals, which I'm very aware. I'm not stupid. I'm very aware that not a lot of people are going to go, if they do follow uh the apocalyptic aftermath. Uh, I'm very sure that there's not going to be a lot of people that will get to that level, or that will even begin to understand that level, which is, I find it very sad, and I hope that it's not the case. I hope it's not the case, because like I said, business is a very important thing. It's a very important thing for your soul. A business is a very important aspect of the self, that is supposed to be integrated into society, and in schools. It's something that schools, people and families should have prepared you for, because that's how you build a house, that's how you build a family, is with your business, you know and that's how you become a respectable member of society, I feel like. And it's good for your soul because you're working for people, you're working with people, and you're doing things for people, so, but at the end of the day, I'm also talking about being creative. Either you're making an invention, or you're finding a new kind of medicinal therapy or something along those lines. You're being creative, you're being an inventor, you're innovating, and you're inventing, innovating, and creating, right? So, and that's very good for you. It's very good for your soul. It's tremendously good for you, you know um and I feel like we need to I feel like this is a point, we're at a crucial point in time, where we need to stop listening to the nonsense. we, we need to do more than just stop listening to the nonsense. We need to actually, and of course, I'm very aware not everybody's going to catch on to this, and that's fine and it's okay. But I'd rather say it, just in case. But we need to like let go of all of these social dogmas that we've created along the years, during the years, because these are the things that are stopping good people to create good businesses, to create like ethical businesses, right? Because nowadays it's kind of like I'm not gonna buy it if these group of people are not fucking with it, then I'm not buying it. And that's where we fall for the trap, and that's where we're hindering progress, because you need to stop listening. You need to stop going towards what these groups of people are going towards, and you need to stop investing your money in the things that you want to see more. So when we say money talks, right? That's how money talks. You don't invest money like if you're, because right now people are being very irresponsible with the money that they have. They invest money in things that they think, they're not investing money in the things that they want to see in their own future. They're investing money in what someone else wants to see for their future. And it's insane. It's an insane thought, because most people are aware that the Illuminati don't have a good plan for the rest of humanity. And yet they're still investing money in whatever the Illuminati is spewing out. So money talks, and money is a spirit. Money is a spirit. Money is energy. Money communicates. Money talks. Money creates. Right? So what you're saying, what your money is saying is, I want more bullshit. Give me more bullshit. I'm investing in bullshit. Henceforth, give me more bullshit. So if you really want, if you are a legitimate existing living breathing person, you got to stop investing in bullshit. And you got to start investing in what you want to see. So just because, so everything has a medic sum of power, because the way people see things, it's kind of like a lot of people see things as of, I don't want this guy to thrive, so I'm not going to invest in it, and that's not how you're supposed to see things. You're not supposed to just see a person. Yes, it's one person offering you a service, but you have to understand, like, if you invest in that service, in that form of servitude, if you invest in that form of servitude, then that means you're going to get more of that form of servitude. So what is luxury at the end of the day, right? So that means, so there's different people. If you can read between the lines, I've just talked about different kinds of people, and how all these different kinds of people have power in their own universes. And nobody's hindering anyone from being who they are. And what I mean by that, so here's an example. So you have a rich guy, he's super rich, right? My business is not hindering this person from being rich. My business is not hindering this person from acting rich. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to help them act more like a rich person. Like, I'm going to create more luxury for you if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, it's actually creating more luxury for you. So then you can keep being a rich jerk Like, so you can keep being like, look at me, I got this, I got that, because that's what you're investing in. And when you invest in the Illuminati, you're investing in being poor and not having things, and not being able to be like, yo, I'm the super rich guy. You're investing in poverty. You're investing in losing money. And if you're the business guy, if you're the guy offering the service, the rich guy is not stopping you from being who you are. The poor men either. As a matter of fact, you're helping both of them. And if you're the poor guy, let's say, well, let's you're not the poor guy. If you're the employee, let's say, but you know the power that you have as an employee, i.e., demons, jinns, and fairies. If you know the power that you have within the employee, you understand that kind of you're the one creating all of this. You're the one creating that event. You're the one that created the precise uh moment of where the rich guy comes into the store. Your boss is serving this guy. Everybody's fucking happy. Blah blah blah. You're the one making this happen. It's thanks to you. If you're a dean jinn or a demon jinn or fairy, right? So everybody has a place. Every cog in the wheel is working. Everything is interconnected. Everything is in motion, and everything is happening. And what we call that is called a revolution. When when a wheel spins like that and everything is working, it's called a revolution. So, so all of the inertia of that wheel's revolution, revving your engine, of all that revolution is creating energy, and then the energy is sent out, goes everywhere it's supposed to go, and comes back to you. And the result of that is becoming stronger, becoming more powerful, whatever that means, in whatever shape or form that it comes to you as, whatever shape or form of power it comes to you as, which is completely and dependently on how you think and what you are thinking of. So right now, for Dean Demons and the Dean for jinns, demons, and spirits and fairies, spirits, I feel like it's about that time, to feel comfortable uh being this person, but you have to be careful on who you're helping. And it's also time for people to accept these people to be in their lives so they can actually finish what they started. It's time for them to accept these people in their life so they can finish what they started. There is a small change that needs to be done. And it's in the way that we perceive things, it's in the way that we think about things, the way that we see people that needs to change. And a lot of people won't be able to do that. and a lot of people will try, I'm sure, but I don't know, humanity has like a tendency to not be able to. I feel like humanity sees help as something negative. Humanity sees help as something negative, so they don't accept help. And I feel like that comes from commercials. It comes from this ideal of not wanting to receive help or not accepting help comes from TV commercials. Because like I said before, it's not even about help. It's like when you're if you play music, let's say you're playing African drums in your house really fucking loud. Like you turn the fucking volume system to fucking 10, 11, right? You crank that fucking shit up. And then a fucking spirit, a fucking African spirit comes along, bro. Why did that happen? Why is there African spirit in your house right now, bro? Like you're completely oblivious to why there's an African spirit in your house, but in the background, while you're sitting there completely oblivious on why the fuck this African spirit is there, there's like African drums playing at freaking you know neck breaking volumes, ear bleeding volumes. Dude, like, so you need to understand that if you're playing a certain type of music, you're going to attract the things that comes with that music. So it's not really help, but people see it as help. No, it's part of your manifestation. It's part of what you're making. It has to be there because you're invoking that spirit. So if you're trying to make money and then you see me walking down the fucking street at the same time you're thinking about money, well, hello, like it's not that I'm trying to help you, it's because that's my world. That's where I come from. You're not physically calling me, but you're calling me. And that's just how it is. And it works the same way for me too. If I start tuning my reality to a certain frequency, there's gonna be people that appear coming from that frequency, whether I like it or not. Doesn't matter. It's not like that world is not less that world than another person, less my world than another person. That has nothing to do with it. It's just, it's a world. And that world has people, things, ways of being, rules, laws, whatever incorporated in it. And I'm trying to tune myself to that frequency. So it's absolutely normal to see things from that frequency. And I feel like today people are literally tuning into different types of frequencies but they are not accepting the things that are in the frequency in essence. And we have to stop doing that. And I think it's mostly out of religious thinking, pardon me for saying, but I think it's literally because of religious thinking and this Illuminati shit that everybody seems to be on. And sometimes it might also be a little bit of a lack of confidence. Also, it might be a little bit of a lack of a confidence because like there's you know you don't think you can make it, or you don't think you're good enough, or things like that. But right now, it's important for you to make it. Even if you don't make it, it's important for you to do it because money talks. Sorry to say it, but money talks. Money can talk to you, and money's talking to us right now, but we're just not listening. We're just not listening. So, like I was saying, man, I feel like it's the time to do what we do best. It's either time for you to be a boss or an employee. And it's important for you, and I feel you need to put a big old smile on your face, not a fake smile, not a fake smile. Don't force yourself. Don't force yourself. The reason for the smile is because you're happy being who you are. Because the you're a god at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you're an employee kind of god, a servant kind of god, or a boss kind of god. You're still a god. It doesn't matter. You need to be happy. You have to accept yourself and be happy with who you are, and do the damn fucking thing when you can do the thing. Because like I said before, a lot of people are not necessarily very accepting of your help, of your being. They don't really like it. But regardless, this world needs our help, man. Like real bad. This world needs our help, like real fucking bad, and really fucking bad, dude. And we might not make it, but at least we did what we wanted to do. Like, like at least bare minimum. At least we went out the way we wanted to go out. So yeah, we need to. This is an important time. It's an important time, and we need to be okay. We need to accept these demons, jinns, and fairies to come into our lives, and we need to be serious about it too. And and us demon, jinns, and spirits and fairies, um, we need to find our people, or to find a person, period, and help them out. And it might take one or two, three tries before finding the right person, but but that's okay. That's okay because sometimes your job is not to make that person a gazillionaire. Sometimes that person just needed belief that something out there exists, and that's good enough because that person's gonna talk about it to other people and so on and so on. you know? So and sometimes that's enough. That sometimes that's all that was needed from you at that particular time, regardless of if you liked that person or not. Because at the end of the day, the only reason why you're capable of attracting a fairy, a demon, or a jinn is because you have a good attitude. You have a charming or disarming attitude. So you're most likely to attract those kinds of individuals if you have a positive outlook on life, believe it or not. Because demons like to have fun. I mean, like, that's the thing though. Like, demons love sin. Demons love sinning, So, at the end of the day, I mean, like, I've created a magical system that incorporates business, but, like, it's not necessarily demonic per se. Well, yeah, it is. It is. It's a demonic essence, but people are a little bit different than they used to be a couple thousand years ago. And I feel like the demon world, the infernal realm, is adapting to how people, or have adapted to how people think nowadays. So they're a little bit more outgoing than how I perceive things. You know, um, because the essence of Lucifer is perfection. Like, Lucifer was a perfect angel. He was born perfect. He was created perfect. Right. So he's the essence of perfection. So a couple thousand years ago, he would be trying to give people riches and stuff like that. Just the other day, Klondike was kind of like Klondike was kind of like I never ask Klondike to find treasure. Like, I always ask him for money directly. I ask him directly for money, right? And I guess he was just joking around, and he was like, the people never ask to find treasure anymore. And there's nothing that I could say because I know it's true. you know, like, I'm guilty of not finding treasure either. I mean, like, and what else am I supposed to think? I mean, like, I don't. I live in the city. Like, what kind of fucking treasure am I going to find here? Which could be, and that ideal could be a limited belief. It could be a limiting belief. I don't know, but he's right. Like people don't ask for to find treasure anymore. Like we don't look, we don't go with a shovel mining stuff. Digging around and stuff like that. We don't need to. We live in a Rubicon civilization, where we get heating, electricity. There's a roof over your head. You don't even need to build a house. You just need to fucking, find a place to live and live there. So there's no need to find treasure. So we always ask for money most of the time, anyway. Very interesting. So demons like to have fun. Um, demons like to have fun a lot, and I've created this aspect of reality, this dimension of reality, to help humanity to better themselves and to evolve, and to not have to suffer mediocrity, because there's no need to. But you have to understand also, which is another thing that I feel like people don't get, is that your fun loving criminal persona is the thing attracting the life towards you. And this is the reason why I find myself repeating, especially nowadays, especially these past couple of weeks. I find myself repeating to just be yourself. You don't have to go through a grind mindset personality change per se, but you have to be serious about your business if you're not gonna have a grind mindset mentality. Because you have to understand, somebody that has a grind mindset mentality is somebody that's serious about his business. He really wants it. That's what he really wants, and he's ready to do everything that he needs to do to get there. So that little aspect, I think, is needed. You don't really have to grind, but you at least need to be serious about what you want. And if you're serious about what you want, regardless of your attitude, you will get it. Absolutely. And you might consider it as help. I'm being a jerk here. I said that on purpose. You might consider it as help, but it's not really help. It's just you're actually synchronizing yourself inside of the universe that you are creating. If you're meeting people, if people are coming into contact with you, is because you are literally traversing into that realm. And of course, not everyone is to be trusted, because at the end of the day, you might be synchronizing and traversing that realm, but that realm is overlapping what we call Plymouth Rock, planet Earth. So there's entities, but there's also humans, and you will attract both. especially if the human that is walking by you is seeing a bunch of entities around you. There's a high chance that he might come and ask you some questions, not in a negative way and not necessarily in a positive way. Discernment, judgment, and knowing thyself is important. A lot more important than well, obviously a lot more important than whatever the Illuminati is force feeding us. Obviously. And it's going to take some time, especially if we're just getting started right now. I'm starting to see a shift. I'm starting to see a movement, man. I was listening to some movie critics the other day. They seem to be movie critics seems to be losing their fucking minds right now, and I fucking love it. Like I'm starting to see movie critics losing their entire fucking minds, and I fucking love it, man. It was about fucking time. Because for a good 2, 3, 4 months, every fucking movie that came out is like, oh, it's the greatest movie ever. No, it's not, and you know it's not. And now I'm seeing, and those guys are gonna keep doing that because well, they work personally for these people. That's their job. But I like the fact that there's like regular people, real, not necessarily regular, but real content creators that are actually acknowledging that this shit is crap. Like, because it is. Like you're not gonna, I wouldn't say it's crap if it wasn't crap. It's crap, man. Like, so I'm pretty sure there's some people that would say something is crap even though it's not crap. But that's another story for another day. But anyway, like I'm happy to see that a lot of content creators are saying it's garbage, and a lot of content creators are also talking about like the video game industry and how crap it was. But I feel like there's a certain rhetoric, authentic rhetoric that needs to be said, because some people like they're tiptoeing. Some people tiptoe. They're kind of like, well, it might be crap, but this that, and that's fine. But you don't want to tiptoe too much, and like if they pay your bills, that's different. I get it, you know. But for other people that don't really have, that not getting their bills paid by these people, you don't really have to accept it, and if a business falls off the wheel because of one thing that you said, and you have five other businesses with you still, I wouldn't worry about it too much, even if it's like the biggest sponsor that you have. No offense, no pun intended. you know, don't go overboard, of course. But for every one you lose, there's two others waiting in line, as we say. So, but like I said, take your time too. This is gonna take some time. If we do start to create things for ourselves, and we do start to try to change uh the way we perceive the world, which is absolutely necessary, um it's gonna take a little bit of time. So be patient. Like just be patient. And keep doing what you're doing. And by the way, if you do not see any changes, then keep doing the shit that you're doing the way you're doing it. If you do not see any changes at all, but I'm noticing some changes already. But we just need to follow through. We just need to be a little bit more accepting. We just need to be a little bit more aware. You know, we need to and dare I say, whatever I said can be seen on a material physical form, societal form, but I feel like a lot of what I said is mostly for open-minded people that are willing to accept their synchronicities and living their lives by these synchronicities and happenings, right? Because I don't, it takes a, at the end of the day, it takes a special kind of person to accept a demon into their life. It takes a special kind of person to accept a fairy or a demon or a jinn into their lives, you know, and not only accept the spirit but respect it and be able to work with it, him or her. I keep saying it. you, you know, to accept the person, um, to accept him or her into your life and to respect him or her in your life, you know, and enjoy it too. Because it might be hard to enjoy. It might be hard to enjoy even. It might be hard to enjoy. And it is hard to enjoy because if people was able to enjoy it, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking about this. So yeah, so it takes a specific kind of person, and these people are very needed right now. You know, these people are very needed. They might not be chosen ones or Jesus or some shit like that, bro, but they're just as fucking important. They're just as fucking important, man. And that's the reason why, that's one of the reasons why the jinn or the demon or the fairy is appearing into your life, because you're important, because you get it. You might not be aware that you get it, but you got something, or else I wouldn't be here. And I'm not saying, you know, it's because that person's special or some shit. I believe anybody can, as long as they stay true to themselves and they really believe that they can do it. I believe people, entities, and people will gravitate towards you if you really believe in yourself. But there's also the people that are probably have nothing to do with spirituality that will attract these entities, these people into their lives because they have something to do, they have a great idea, there is something important that they would like to establish, and we're willing to help. And it's also the reason why we're willing to help is because that's where we come from. That's the dimension that we live on. That's the parallel universe that we come from. We come from that dimension, the dimension where the shit that you're talking about is legit. We come from there, dude. That's, you know, so it's not just helping because you need help because you're fucking weak. You're weak because you need fucking help and shit. No, that has nothing to do with that. You're falling into the world that you always wanted to be in. That's what that means. You know, and you're likable. You're a likable person that's falling into the world that you always thought of. So you're gonna see us a lot, you know. And the worst part is, you want to know what's fucked up of what I just said? That sometimes I've noticed this, and I don't know what it means, but I've noticed sometimes it's people that I know that doesn't like me, But it's like, okay, well, the reason is probably because I'm very powerful and I hold a lot of authority over a lot of things. But sometimes it's just like like I'm throwing the flower here at the people that might be hating on me and shit. Like I think I'm throwing the flower at the people that might fucking hate my guts and shit. But it happens a lot. Like, so sometimes I'm gonna have like a vibration like I have right now. I'm gonna have a vibration like I have right now, and there's probably like somebody on Earth somewhere, like around my neighborhood, that's gonna feel that vibration, and he's gonna be like, you know what, fuck yeah. But that fuck yeah, I feel like was so powerful that I ended up showing up in front of the person when so like it happens sometimes. Like it would happen where like, like I would be like talking about something. I would be like talking about fashion and shit, dressing up or something, and then you'd unexpectedly see I would unexpectedly see somebody like that's dressed up, that's not usually dressed up, but that person's kind of pissed off because he didn't think that I would like appear the same day that he decided to dress up and shit. But I don't change. I mean, it's not like when I see that shit, it's not like, and I can see on the person's face that he's not happy about it, because it's kind of like to that person, it's kind of like it's like it's kind of like a shameful moment, because he didn't think he would be caught, because that's how this person thinks about these things. That's how most people think about these things. They're kind of like, oh man, you know. But the thing is, like, if you do that and I appear, I'm not gonna. I mostly give a compliment when I see that. Like, I don't take it as an offense, as if oh, you're trying to steal my shit, or you're stealing my style or something. No, like, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, But it's still not. Even if I give a compliment to the person, it's not very well received. I can see that the person is kind of like not happy with the fact that, because it's not like it happened like 3 months, 6 months later. It would be like immediately after or some shit like that. Like, so you really don't expect that to happen, but that's my universe. It's that's me. So it's kind of, it's not your fault. It's just like, if you're going there, you're going to see me. Like, so it's very normal. It's a very normal thing to happen. And it happens to me too. Like, it happens to me all the fucking time. You know, um, and I'm glad for it. Like, it happens. It happens quite a lot. It happens to me too. It's not just, it happens to everybody. Um, it happens to everybody. It happens to me too. I do something. I go into another person's universe, and then an entity from that universe appears, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, like, oh shit, that guy. Like, so it's just a matter of perspective and perception, and I am, by the way, trying to enter a dimension specifically at this moment, which is none of your business, and I'm not gonna explain it. And I just want you to know, just because there's probably people thinking like, well, what are you doing? Like, some shit like that. I am shifting. I am quantum leaping into something. And I have to do some point and pulling, because of recent events, and I'm also a very I'm a high profile person, so it's not that easy to manifest things and being surrounded by pedophiles and rapists and fucking I don't know what Illuminati and shit like that, and still try to manifest the best life you ever live while you're fighting off all of these disgusting individuals, you know. So it's I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, dude. I am trying to manifest something in particular, something that I've wanted for a very long time since I was a kid, I think. So, but it's not an easy thing to manifest, and I did a little bit of research on it, and it might be a little bit negative, so I'm not sure if that's true. I did like 30 minutes of research on it, so I have no idea if that's true or not. Barely 5 minutes, 5 minutes of research. Like I read one article, so I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still working on it, but that's what I'm working on manifesting right now. That's you know, the, anyway. I'm not gonna say more than that. And yeah, so I hope you guys can. I hope everybody can get along on a in a positive way, and not just get along to go along, and destroy the entire fucking universe at the same fucking time. I hope that people, because at the end of the day, yeah, at the end of the day, by the way, for the people that want to be all super tough and working by themselves, it's you're that's kind of what you're doing, you know. So, in a bizarre way, that's you're still technically alone because you're not working with people from Earth. Like you're not working with people from Earth 2024. You're working with people from an other Earth 2024 or not. You could be working with a Earth on a. You could be working with people from a Earth from 900 before Christ BC. 900 before Christ. So at the end of the day, if you look at it that way, you're still working by yourself. So you can still be like, oh yeah, I built it by myself, blah blah. And that's fine. We don't care. I mean, like, well, you gotta give us a little bit of credit too. Like, you can't take advantage of us, because if you take advantage of us, you're gonna lose us immediately. Like, so I guess it's important to give credit where credit is due, but we're never gonna take credit for things that we didn't do. Also, and when we're talking about credit, we're talking about like on a piece of paper, like kind of credit, like so, like we're not here to cramp your style. We're not here to cramp your style. We're not here to make you look like a buffoon. Like so, like but I expect to get paid for my services, and if you serve me, you should expect to get paid for your services. Um, which is what my case is as of right now. I kind of switched from a employee to employer aspect, um, because I've been given a lot of things. I've been given a lot of gifts and a lot of things. So my job, titled, has I got a promotion. Let's put it that way. Let's just in layman's term, I got a promotion. So my I have, but I feel. You want to know why I keep repeating this? Because I kind of miss it. Because I kind of miss that. Because there's power in serving. There's like a lot of power in servitude, kind of like you have to be like it's like it's complicated. It's complicated. Like there's like there's a kind of power that you have when you are in the background. Like there's a kind of power that you have when you are in the background, and you're like manipulating the you're like puppet on a string type, type of thing, and it's fun to do that too. It's extremely fun to do that, and and that does make you demonic. If you like doing that type of stuff, you're kind of demonic, like like and but it's very fun. It's very fun to pull the strings. It's very fun to pull the strings. I like it, and I never try to pull the strings on a negative in a negative way. I like pulling the strings just to make shit happen, but people aren't that stupid too. Like you can fuck with somebody's head only for so long until they realize that you're fucking with their heads. Like, and regardless of if you're doing it on a positive for positive reasons, they're just not gonna like it regardless. So there's that too. And but you can't and it's what I'm talking about is very complicated, and it's very cosmic. It's very cosmic and complicated wisdom, because the person also needs to understand that you can't tell him anything. Like, I can't tell you what I'm doing. I mean, I can tell you what I'm doing, but I can't tell you what I'm doing. Because if I tell you what I'm doing, it's not gonna work. And I want it to work, and you want it to work too. So I can't really say what I'm doing, and you shouldn't ask. Just take it as it is, And if I prove not to be useful, then you can kick me out or some shit like that. But if I'm useful, like, don't ask. It's none of your business. Just don't ask, bro. Like, it's none of your business. It'll be your business when it's time for it to be your business. It might never be your business. It depends on your own research. It depends on your path in life, and the things that you want to do, and the things that matters to you, and so on and so on. And so, there's certain information. If you're doing something, there's certain information that are completely useless to you, that you don't need. Like I could explain to you the inner workings of the universe, but if you like building boats, what the fuck? What would be the point? I'm wasting your fucking time. like, like if your destiny is like building rockets and building boats, and I'm talking about like fucking, I don't know, like the inner workings of Delilah plants. Like, what? Like, that's completely useless information, bro. Like, so it is what it is. So I'm gonna stop the video right there, because at this point I'm just fucking rambling, even though the ramble is kind of sensical rambling, but rambling nonetheless. I'm gonna stop the video right here. I hope you guys, you demons, jinns, and fairies understand the concept of this video here, and you do have a good heart, and I don't want you to. Well, I don't want people to think that you just have a good heart, because the repercussions, the consequences and repercussions of trying to fuck you over are pretty severe. And I hope people don't have to try to fuck with you to understand that, and they will just accept your services for what they are, when they are, if they are. And I also don't want you to just go out and try to help as many people as possible, because that is also not something to do, by the way. And with that said, I'm going to see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace out.